Hey guys, what's going on? Darren here, and welcome back to the F1 22 My Team Career Mode. And this time, we're at Monte Carlo for the Monaco Grand Prix. If you haven't checked out the last round, go back, go check it out. We were in Spain, and it was a fantastic race. We scored a good amount of points in Barcelona, and we'll be looking to carry forward that momentum into one of the biggest races of the year, the Monaco Grand Prix. Before we get into things here, we're just taking a quick look at upgrades that we could potentially put onto the car. We've got a durability upgrade, which is nice, I guess. And we also have a chassis upgrade, which will be coming very soon. And we're going to be looking to get that on the car, because when we do, things are going to be looking very good for our Pulse Motorsport car. It should push us very nicely up the grid. Now you can see here, we're diving straight into the race. And the reason for that is because sadly during the Monaco Grand Prix, we had some issues. We had that glitch where, you know, once you get an engine issue, and then once you've got an engine issue, then all of a sudden you just get huge amounts of understeer, and you lose something like 2 or 3 seconds a lap. And around tracks like Monaco, where it's high downforce, for some reason it does affect you a little bit more than at other circuits. So you can see here, we're just showing a little bit of the start where, you know, we got past Yuki Tsunoda, and then after that, things really went downhill, and we eventually crashed. So, yep, we crashed out of the Monaco Grand Prix after getting the understeer glitch. And, yeah, you can see here, Lando Norris won the Grand Prix for McLaren. And that is exactly what he needs for his championship challenge, because he is the leader of the Drivers' Championship so far. And this win is going to put him even further ahead of Charles Leclerc, who's currently in second place. And you can see Charles Leclerc did not even feature on the podium, and neither did Max Verstappen. So for Lando Norris, this is a brilliant result, and it's going to see him have a big lead now in the Drivers' Championship. We're going to be taking a look at that very shortly. So Lando Norris wins from Russell in second, and Perez is third. And look at this now, Lando Norris leads the Drivers' Championship by 30 points from Max Verstappen in second place, and Charles Leclerc is down to third place and tied in third place with Sergio Perez. So that was the Monaco Grand Prix, and now we're going to dive straight in to the Canadian Grand Prix, and we're going to dive straight into qualifying for the Canadian Grand Prix. And in Canada, things are hopefully going to go a little bit better for us than they did in Monaco, so hopefully we don't get that engine understeer glitch. So you can see here, we're going to dive straight into qualifying 1. And this is our final lap in qualifying. We're currently down in P19, and things are not looking too great for us, as it looks like we might be dropping out in qualifying 1. You can see this is actually our 4th or 5th lap in qualifying. We did quite a lot of laps in Q1. Normally we only do 2 laps, so the fact that we did 4, and now we're on our 5th lap, says a lot about what we were trying to do. And you can see as we go through that final chicane, we gained about 4/10 through that final chicane, and that's going to be enough to see us through to qualifying 2 in Montreal. We'll go up to P12, and now we go straight into qualifying 2, and we're currently in 10th place and through to qualifying 3, but we're going to have to try and do a better lap so that we can secure our place into qualifying 3. Through we go past the chicane. We kind of cut that chicane a little bit, I've got to be honest. We do cut it just a little bit. And you can see we go purple in sector 1. Thanks to us probably cutting that chicane just a little bit. But you can see now we're up by 2.5 tenths. We're still in P10 here in Montreal, so we might actually be safe to get through to qualifying 3. Now through we go past the next chicane. We're still a 10th up on our previous lap. And is this going to be enough to see us through to qualifying 3? We go now into the hairpin, and we break a little bit early into that hairpin, and that sees us now lose a little bit of time. We're actually red now, we've lost time, because we did break a little bit too early. And you can see we've actually dropped down to P11 here in Montreal. We've dropped down to P12 now. So it's all going to come down to this final chicane. We're going to launch it over the final chicane. We get a good exit, and we're 2/10 up, and is that going to be enough to see us through to Q3? Yes, it is. It's P9 in Montreal, and we're through now to qualifying 3. And we go straight to the end of qualifying 3. And this is going to have 1 lap here in Montreal. We didn't really show you the rest of the lap because there wasn't really any point, because the lap time was about the same as it was in Q2. And where is it going to put us for this Canadian Grand Prix? It's P8. And a 111.1 sees us in 8th place.
It's time once again then to go racing here in Montreal, the second largest French-speaking city in the world, and home since 1978 to the Canadian Grand Prix. If you want flat-out racing, you've come to the right place this weekend, as it's full throttle for 59% of this 2.7-mile circuit, peaking at around 210 miles per hour going into the final chicane. But that speed requires discipline, and there are more than a few close walls here just waiting to punish drivers with a heavy right foot. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Leclerc, George Russell and Norris, Hamilton, Bennett, Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Pierre Gasly and Tsunoda, Mick Schumacher, Théo Pourchaire, Robert Schwartzman and Guan Yu Zhou, Latifi, Albon, Vettel and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So last season we actually did a 111.8, so we have improved by about 7/10, so that's pretty good, actually I would say, compared to last season. So yeah, it's good to see that the car and of course ourselves are getting much faster. And now, anyway, to the races, lights out, and away we go. We cut the inside a little bit there because I knew that Fernando Alonso was going to turn in on us. This is before the patch, which has recently come out. So I recorded this race before the patch, which has just come out. And apparently in the patch, they have turned down the aggression of the AI just a little bit. But because this is before the patch came out, they were still a little bit overly aggressive and just turning in on you. So yeah, that's why I had to cut turn 1 just a little bit. But you can see here, we've actually only made up 1 place, and we've only just made up that 1 place now as we go down the inside past we go round the outside, I should say, of Lando Norris, and that is us now up to P7 in Montreal. So we've only made up 1 place so far off the line. So yeah, it's fair to say that diving down the inside and maybe cutting that corner just a little bit didn't really help us that much, because we have only literally gained 1 place. So yeah, you know, we're past Lando Norris and we're up now to P7. And next up for us is going to be surely Lewis Hamilton. We're going to have to try and catch up to the Mercedes. And that's not going to be an easy task. Our Pulse Motorsport car is getting faster and faster, but we're currently not there with the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. We're still a little bit behind those guys. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit difficult, I think, for us to catch up to those 2 Mercedes in this Grand Prix. We might need a little bit of an assistance, so hopefully those guys can start battling pretty hard, because if they do start battling pretty hard, then we might just be able to find a way past one of those 2 Mercedes. You can see it now, it's lap 2 in this Grand Prix. They've currently got a 2-second lap over us, and we get a bad exit there, actually. I didn't realise we got such a bad exit, and Lando Norris just absolutely mugs us off, and Lando Norris gets past us, and we drop now to P8, so back where we started this Grand Prix. Lando Norris with a beautiful exit there. He got a much better exit than us, and just on pure traction gets past us and drops us from P7 to P8. You can see we go now to lap number 8 here in Montreal, and it's lap number 8 and we're in P8. And you can see here we're still with Lando Norris. Norris just couldn't pull away from us, and it took us a while to get up to speed, but once we did, yeah, we were just able to stick with Lando Norris. And now, with our much better tyre wear that we have versus the AI, and our much better ERS that we have, we're able now to just start deploying that ERS and use the tyres a little bit more than the AI. And it's going to start helping us now in the second phase of this first stint. We lock up a little bit there, but yeah, with this extra tyre life that we have, we're just able to use it now. And now it's going to start coming good for us. And now we're going to start getting closer and closer to the AI as they start running out of grip. And you can see here we're closing the gap to Lando Norris. Norris here, he doesn't get a good exit from the final chicane. And now we're going to be able to look for a move possibly to get past Lando Norris. And now we're going to go down the inside past Lando Norris as Daniel Ricciardo dives into the pits. We go purple in the final sector. And through we go past Lando Norris. And that is us now up to P number 7 here in Montreal. And we go now to lap number 14. And who's this here? There's someone going slow. It's the Mercedes. It's Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton's had an engine failure and Lewis Hamilton is out of the Canadian Grand Prix. And that's that little bit of help that I was just saying that we needed. Lewis Hamilton with an engine failure is out of the Canadian Grand Prix, and that is us now up to P6. As we go now to lap number 15. At the end of lap 15 and into the pits comes Charles Leclerc, and that is us now up to P5 here in Montreal, and that is exactly what you love to see for us. So Charles Leclerc dives into the pits, and we go now to the end of lap 16, starts at lap 17. Into the pits comes Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen as well. And they go from the mediums to the hard compound tyres. And that is us now up to P2. But look at this, Pierre Gasly's out of the Grand Prix and the safety car has been deployed. Pierre Gasly's had an incident. And Pierre Gasly is out of the Canadian Grand Prix. And it looks like he's actually just crashed into the back of Théo Pourchaire. Oh, we didn't actually get to see what happened there, sadly. We were a little bit late on the replay, but Pierre Gasly crashed into the back of Théo Pourchaire. It looks like Théo Pourchaire spun on the exit of the chicane, and then Gasly had nowhere to go, but he crashed into the back of Théo Pourchaire. Théo Pourchaire is still in this Grand Prix, but yeah, Pierre Gasly's out of the race, and we use that opportunity then to dive into the pits and onto a set of the hard compound tyres, which will take us to the end of this Canadian Grand Prix. Now the question is, where are we going to come out? Are we going to come out in front of Lando Norris? We're going to hope to come out in front of him, and yes we do. We come out in front of Lando Norris. Now this time last season our fastest lap in the Grand Prix was a 1:13.9, so we've already gone faster than we did last season in this Canadian Grand Prix. So our fastest lap is already faster than it is from last season. Now the question is how much faster can we go? I think we've got about another half a second in us as we go onto these hard compound tyres. So yeah, we could be going about a second faster than we did in last season's Canadian Grand Prix. But of course last season in Canada we did, I believe, get a stint on the soft compound tyres, which yeah, probably did help. Like, we did have a good stint on the soft, which probably helps us with our fastest lap. But we haven't got that this season. It is just a normal mediums to hard stint. And guys, I've tried to say, if you guys are enjoying this video, please do, as always, smash the like button down below. We got a lot more F1 content coming your way. We got the British Grand Prix after this, and I've already recorded the British Grand Prix. That's another race that is pre-patch, and I have to say, the British Grand Prix is probably the best race we've done so far in my team. It was absolutely incredible, and guys, you just have to wait and find out and see just how good it is. But I have to say, it was a really good race, and I can't wait to share that with you guys. So anyway, now we go to the end of lap 20, starts on lap 21. The race is back underway, and we are sticking with George Russell and Carlos Sainz. You can see as we go to lap number 23 now. Look at this, Carlos Sainz is holding up George Russell, and he's holding up absolute I almost struggled there with English. He is holding up George Russell an absolute treat for us. And look at this, they're going wheel to wheel, and they're going wheel to wheel in the chicane. That's going to hold them both up, and that means that if we are lucky, we're going to be able to get past both of them. We get past Carlos Sainz. Are we going to get George Russell as well? Right around the outside, I think we are through. We go past George Russell, and that is us now up to P4. But Russell with the inside line gets back past us and drops back to P5. Norris gets past Carlos Sainz as well, but George Russell is not going to get the DRS. And us with DRS and ERS flies past George Russell, and that puts us up to P4 here in Montreal. We take 4th place in the Canadian Grand Prix. Now, can George Russell do anything about us, or have we got that position pretty much secured? I think we do. I don't think there's that much now that George Russell can do about us, and that is us now up to P4 as we go to lap 28 here in Montreal. And what is going to happen here then? So we're up to P8. And I think it's actually going to be a fastest lap attempt. So we're going to be using the ERS here. We go green in sector 1. And now we'll go through sector 2. We fling it through that chicane. We're going to use as much of the ERS as we can. And what are we going to go? We're going to go purple in sector 2. No, we don't. But we do go green. So it's the fastest second sector. We lock up a little bit. And that is not ideal for us to get that fastest lap. But we've got a lot of ERS to use down this back straight and pit straight. So we're just going to use ERS all the way down the straight. We're going to fly down the straight 330 kilometers per hour with the ERS turned up to the absolute maximum. And we're going to use ERS to the maximum to get us to the line. And it's going to be a 1:13.0, and that is the fastest lap of the Canadian Grand Prix. So that is a purple lap as we go to lap 35. You can see that fastest lap is still a thing. However, Daniel Ricciardo in the McLaren is on like a 2 or 3 stop strategy. I don't really know what he's doing. But yeah, he went from softs at the start of the race to a set of mediums and now had to go through another set of softs to get him to the end of this Canadian Grand Prix. And with that extra set of softs, he sets a fastest lap here in Montreal. It goes with a 1:12.6, but a 1:13.0. It's about 9/10 faster than we managed this time last season. But we are going to finish this Grand Prix in P4. It's 4th place. It's one of our best results of the season in Canada.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home. Victory for the team from Milton Keynes then, after a quality performance. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everybody at the team.
So Sergio Perez wins the Canadian Grand Prix, and that is going to be very nice for him in this championship, and also very nice for Lando Norris, as he has beaten both Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc, who are, of course, Lando Norris's closest rivals in this Drivers' Championship. So Sergio Perez wins the Canadian Grand Prix from Max Verstappen in 2nd place. Charles Leclerc finishes a brilliant 3rd for Ferrari, and we finish oh so close to the podium, but we just don't make it with P4. But we are the best of the Brits, as we get George Russell in 5th, Norris 6th, Schumacher 7th, Sainz in 8th, Tsunoda 9th, and Fernando Alonso rounds out the top 10 here in Montreal, with 2 drivers DNFing the Grand Prix, both Lewis Hamilton and Pierre Gasly. In the drivers' standings now, Lando Norris leads the Drivers' Championship, but look at that, Sergio Perez moves up to 2nd place in the drivers' standings. We are still in P8 in the Drivers' Championship, but now on 37 points. And in the Constructors, Red Bull leads the Constructors' Championship, and Pulse Motorsports is still in P5. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and if you did, I want you to, as always, I would really appreciate it if you do comment, leave a like, and if you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the channel for more F1 content. And we'll see you guys again soon for the British Grand Prix. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.